I want to talk to you today about a critical mistake that so many people make when it comes to relationships and interacting with potential partners. This is something that applies to both men and women, but I'm going to focus specifically on the ladies here. When a man reaches out to you, sends you a message, gives you a call, there is one huge mistake you must avoid at all costs. This single mistake can sabotage a promising new connection before it even gets off the ground. What is this massive blunder that trips so many people up? It's this: do not, under any circumstances, respond too quickly or eagerly when a man first contacts you. I know your heart skips a beat when you see his name pop up on your phone. You feel that flutter of excitement as you read his message. Your fingers are itching to tap out a reply right that second. But let me tell you, that is the worst thing you can possibly do in that moment. Here's the brutal truth, ladies: when you respond immediately to a man with eagerness and enthusiasm, you are signaling loud and clear that you have nothing else going on in your life. You're communicating that you were just sitting there waiting anxiously by the phone for him and him alone to reach out and make your day. And I hate to break it to you, but that is so unattractive to a high value man with options. He doesn't want a woman who has built her entire schedule and life around waiting for his call. A high caliber man desires a woman who has passions, interests, friendships, hobbies, and a full life outside of him. When you respond at lightning speed every single time, you're subcommunicating that you don't have those things. You're subcommunicating a lack of self worth and an unappealing neediness. I don't care how strong the temptation is, fight it with every ounce of your being. Recognize that your time and attention are valuable. They are precious resources, not to be thrown at anyone and everyone the second they request them. This is not about playing games or being coy and cutesy. Far from it. This is about respecting yourself, your time, and your independent identity enough to not drop everything the moment a man decides to grace you with a message. Have some self control, a backbone. Put your own life and needs first. I promise you this: a little bit of restraint and mystery in your response will make you infinitely more enticing and desirable than being at his beck and call 24/7. And you know what? Even if the man in question is someone you've been seeing for a while and have developed feelings for, the same principle still applies. Do not make your world revolve around any man, no matter how smitten you may be. Never abandon your own priorities and passions to be constantly available. That is a one-way ticket to being taken for granted and losing your autonomy and power in the relationship. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. A bright, dynamic, interesting woman meets a man and suddenly morphs into an insecure shell of her former self, pouring all her energy into obsessing over his every communication and trying to decode his level of interest based on response times. Don't fall into that trap. It will drain your spark and make you a faded, hollow imitation of the vivacious person you really are. Instead, when a man reaches out, acknowledge the message warmly but briefly. Then go on about your day and get back to him when you have a free moment, not in seconds, but in hours or maybe the next day if you're truly tied up with your own activities and obligations. And don't you dare apologize or feel guilty for the delay. Show through your actions that you are a woman with an incredibly full, rich life, and any man would be lucky to get a slice of your time and attention. When you do respond, be upbeat and positive, but also a bit mysterious. Don't lay out your whole life story or day's itinerary. Leave him wondering what you're up to, what's putting that smile on your face. Cultivate an aura that says your world is a fascinating, joyful place with or without his presence in it. The more you can master this delicate balance of being responsive and engaging, but also maintaining healthy boundaries around your own time and not overinvesting, the more intoxicating you will become to the high quality men you want to attract. They'll see you as a rare gem, someone it's a privilege to get to know, not a guarantee they can take for granted. Now, this doesn't give you free rein to play manipulative games or intentionally leave him hanging for days just for kicks. The key is simply to truly have a busy, full life that doesn't screech to a halt every time an attractive man pings you. Fill your world with things you love to do, goals you're fired up to achieve, friends who energize you, hobbies that light you up. That way, not jumping to respond to a text won't be a phony tactic, but an authentic reflection of your priorities and thriving life. And ladies, I want to let you in on a powerful secret: this approach doesn't just make you wildly attractive to high value men. Sticking to this also keeps your heart safe and protects you from fixating on any one person or emotionally spiraling if they don't respond in the way or time frame you want. When you don't put a man at the center of your universe from the get-go, you give a potential relationship the breathing room to unfold organically without ratcheting up the pressure and getting caught up in anxiety-fueled thought loops. In essence, you're emanating the energy of the sort of woman a man would actually want a relationship with: independent, fulfilled, confident, and willing to make space for a partner without being consumed by him. That is the sort of woman who commands respect, devotion, and the pursuit of a man who recognizes her worth. I've seen the women in my life who embody this vibe, the ones who prioritize their own growth and refuse to drop everything for a man, especially in the early stages. They're the ones who wind up in deeply fulfilling, passionate relationships with incredible men who treasure them. And when challenges arise, as they inevitably do, these women have the self assurance and outside support system to navigate them from a place of strength. So I invite you to take an honest look at how you respond when a man contacts you. Do you make him the sun your life revolves around, or do you see him as a wonderful addition to your already beautiful world? Trust me, striving for the latter will transform your entire relationship landscape for the better. Start catching yourself when you feel that urge to lunge for the phone and tap out an essay length reply the second you see his name. Breathe through it, return to the present moment and the task at hand. Get in the habit of acknowledging messages warmly, but not immediately, no matter how much you like the guy. If this is new for you, it'll feel uncomfortable at first. That little voice of scarcity and fear will nag at you, telling you you're going to miss your chance if you don't pounce. Refuse to listen to it. You know that if a man is genuinely interested and aligned with you, he will not evaporate into thin air just because you took a few hours to get back to him. The right guy will find your full life appealing, not off putting. As you practice this, an amazing thing will happen. You'll start attracting more men who value and pursue you because your vibe will say, I'm worth the effort. And just as importantly, the act of regularly choosing yourself, even in the face of temptation from an exciting new prospect, will build tremendous self love, emotional resilience, and confidence. You'll stop handing your power away, hoping a man will give you the validation and worth you can only find within. This is about so much more than a texting tactic, ladies. It's about breaking the pattern of contorting yourself to be immediately available for a man, any man, at the expense of your peace and self respect. It's about knowing what you bring to the table, trusting that the right person will see that clearly, and granting yourself the patience to let things proceed at a healthy pace. And from that space of fullness within yourself, you can then genuinely engage with men who step up and express interest, not from a desperate place of trying to lock them down or force a specific outcome, but from a joyful place of openness and curiosity, trusting that whatever's meant for you won't miss you. I believe we all have a deep well of power, wisdom, and enoughness inside of us. When we tap into that, everything changes how we feel about ourselves, how we date, how we relate overall. Unlearning the impulse to jump and self abandon the moment a man beckons is just one piece of the gorgeous mosaic of respecting yourself, but it's a crucial one. So the next time your heart flutters seeing his name light up your phone screen, honor yourself enough to not immediately pounce. Get in the habit of being responsive, but on your own loving terms and timeline. Not only will your dating life reap the benefits, but your relationship with yourself will grow richer than ever. And from that place of wholeness, I promise you this, the people, experiences, and love that are truly meant for you will find their way in, not by force or fear or game playing, but by you embodying your most empowered, radiant self and lovingly meeting life as it comes to meet your open heart. That S the key to attracting extraordinary love, not texting tricks or trying to wrestle the reins of control. I hope this heart to heart chat will sit with you the next time you find yourself in this situation. Remember, choosing to be responsive but not immediately reactive isn't about denying your excitement, it's about channeling that energy back towards your own incredible life and self love. And when your days, mind, and spirit are brimming with the people, activities, and dreams that light you up, I think you'll find that you naturally won't even want to funnel all that beauty into obsessing over any one man. You'll be too busy relishing your journey and becoming your most spectacular self. So here's to never again making the mistake of abandoning ourselves the moment a promising partner appears. Here's to pacing ourselves, granting ourselves the gift of time, and letting that be a reflection of how worthy we know we are. And above all, here's to honoring our wild, wonderful fullness and trusting that when we do that, the right people and opportunities will find their way to our door without us needing to kick it down. I'm so excited for you to put this approach into practice and watch how it transforms your entire energy and relational landscape. Get ready to be pursued, cherished, and celebrated like never before. And most importantly, get ready to fall more deeply in love with your own incredible self. You've got this. Let's remember, Queens, we are the leaders of our own lives, the writers of our own stories. No man, no matter how amazing, has the power to define our worth or dictate our choices. When we respond to others from a place of true fullness, everything changes for the better. I know it's not always easy to resist the urge to immediately jump at any shred of attention from someone we're excited about. Our society conditions us to believe our value lies in being desired, chosen, eternally available. But I'm here to tell you that your value, your power, your brilliance, they all exist within you, independent of anyone else's recognition or response time. Choosing to get back to a guy when it feels aligned for you, not overriding your own needs to cater to his. That's not a trick or a tactic. It's a profound act of self love and self respect. It's planting your flag in the ground and proclaiming, I am worthy of pursuing my own passions, of making my own joy a priority, of granting my time and energy to those who consistently show up and invest in me. When you start living from that place, you become utterly magnetic. You start glowing from within, vibrating at a frequency that attracts better quality people and experiences into your orbit. You stop chasing and start choosing to pour your precious life force energy into what really matters to you, not dispersing it in desperate fragments while praying to be picked. This isn't about making him sweat as punishment or playing silly mind games. It's about making you the heroine of your own adventure, the leading lady of your own love story. It's about putting down the heavy burden of contorting yourself to be always accessible and instead picking up the liberating truth of your own enoughness. I know that little voice of fear will still occasionally pipe up, telling you that if you don't respond within seconds, he'll lose interest and move on. But hear this: anyone who is genuinely aligned and meant for you will never be deterred or discouraged by you having a beautiful life of your own. In fact, your independent spirit, your rich inner world, your willingness to honor your own needs, those are precisely the qualities that will draw in a partner who celebrates and supports your light. So let waiting to reply become your new superpower, your declaration to the world that you are a woman who chooses, not chases. Let it be an act of rebellious self love, of saying, I am willing to risk disappointing someone else before I ever disappoint myself again. And watch what happens when you start emanating that energy of enoughness. Watch as low vibe, flaky, non committal folks fall by the wayside. Watch as juicy opportunities, loving people, and magical surprises start flocking into the space you've created by no longer settling for crumbs. Watch as you become the most captivating and irresistible force in your own life, not because of who wants you, but because of how deeply and unapologetically you want and love yourself. From that empowered space, your approach to relationships and communication will shift so beautifully. No more frantic responding, no more sacrificing your desires on the altar of his ego and attention. Just a groundedness, a willingness to be true to you, and a knowing that anything real will rise up to meet your worth, not shy away from your fullness. I know, sweet friend, that this isn't always the easiest path. Standing in your value, refusing to abandon yourself, letting a beat pass before replying, even when you're thrilled to hear from him, it can kick up resistance, discomfort, maybe even a bit of fear. But on the other side of that momentary unease lies a life beyond your wildest dreams, a life where you call the shots, set the tone, and attract people and situations that honor your shine instead of exploiting your hunger for love. A life where you're no longer a supporting character in someone else's drama, but the dazzling, confident leading lady of your own unfolding story. A life where, down to your bones, that nothing and no one can dim your radiance or rob you of your worth. That's what awaits you when you begin to embody this approach. Not just better dating prospects, but a total inner revolution. A homecoming to yourself, a bone deep understanding that you are and have always been more than enough. So the next time your fingers are hovering over your phone, poised to shoot off a lightning fast reply, the instant his name pops up, remember this pep talk. Remember that choosing to pause before responding isn't a passive aggressive ploy, but a powerful affirmation. It's you vowing to choose you, even and especially in the face of temptation. It's you refusing to let the wild, pulsing potential of your life contract down to the size of one person's opinion or attention. It's you being willing to risk ruffling a few feathers if it means staying true to your own gorgeous wings. Because you, my dear, are a rare and miraculous bird. You are not meant to be caged, controlled, or constantly bending to fit someone else's preferences. You are meant to soar, to sing your heart song, to grace the world with your irreplicable colors and rhythms. Choosing to get back to yourself first, to let any man's energy be the icing, not the entire cake of your happiness. That's one of the greatest acts of self love and courage you will ever undertake. But I promise you this, it will also be one of the most rewarding and liberating. It won't always be comfortable, especially at first. You'll have to swim upstream against the current of conditioning that tells you to drop everything the second a man summons. You'll have to practice trusting that relationships ripen best with a little breathing room, not constant monitoring and instant gratification. You'll have to pick yourself, soothe your own anxiety, and master the art of artfully engaging without overinvesting. But brick by brick, reply by mindful reply, you'll be building the unshakable foundation of your own radiance. You'll be reclaiming the right to conduct your connections from a place of wholeness, not hustling for validation. You'll be growing your faith that what's meant for you can't be deterred by a slight delay in response, and anyone who can't handle your happy, busy life isn't your person anyway. So here's to taking your time, refusing to wilt yourself down for any man's ego, and letting things unfold in divine timing. Here's to chatting and flirting and connecting in a way that feels joyful and authentic to you, not pressured or rushed. Here's to owning your right to engage or pull back, not as a manipulation, but as a reflection of your self loyalty and inner abundance. Most of all, here's to you, a woman in delicious devotional love with her own life. A woman who knows down to her marrow that honoring her own heart, not chasing after someone else's fleeting attention, is her hottest asset. A woman who's ready to start treating her time, her energy, and her love as the priceless jewels they are. I see that woman in you, even if you're still unfurling into her. Trust me when I tell you she's longing to emerge, to stretch her wings, to stop flinging herself at the first shiny object of affection and instead let herself be pursued, desired, and cherished. All you need to do is keep choosing her, even if your thumbs twitch to shoot back a speedy text. Little by little, response by response, you'll get there. You'll learn to pace yourself in communication and courtship. You'll gather evidence that pumping the brakes often heightens attraction. You'll realize that the more fully you feed your own spirit first, the more magnetic you become to potential mates. You'll taste the incomparable sweetness of being adored by a partner precisely because of your independence, not in spite of it. What a gift to yourself and to any relationship lucky enough to blossom with you. By committing to be responsive but not reactive, boundaried but not withholding, open but not overextended, you're not only revolutionizing your love life, but sending out a potent, energetic invitation to your highest and best. You're announcing to the universe that you're ready to receive extraordinary love, the kind that goes the distance, weathers any storm, and lights up every cell of your being. The kind that doesn't require you to shrink, bend, or beg for crumbs, but rises up to meet you where you glow. And that caliber of love, my darling, it can't help but find its way to you when you start embodying it within yourself first. When you stop leaping at the first hint of external fondness and instead relish your own company and magic above all else. When you make it a daily practice to pick yourself and let everything else be a delightful bonus. So, from my heart to yours, I'm encouraging you, nay, imploring you to not make that mistake of responding with lightning speed the instant a man contacts you, especially someone new. Let it be a loving reminder to return to your own orbit when you feel pulled to overfocus on his. Allow it to be a sacred pause where you reconnect with your own worthiness before deciding how to respond to his request for more of your energy. Trust that putting this bit of space between his initial bid for attention and your reply won't push away any man who's truly right for you. If anything, it'll make you even more intriguing and compelling to someone who has the depth and security to appreciate a woman with a sparkling, self sustaining life of her own. More than any text tactic, I hope you absorb the deeper invitation here, the call to start romancing yourself harder than you've ever pursued partnership, to stop waiting to be seen by someone else and start witnessing your own wonderful unfolding, to quit shrinking your world down to when he will reach out and instead stretch into the stunning expanse of your own interests, friendships, and big juicy dreams. The more you make this your default way of being, the less anxious and activated you'll feel when a man does light up your phone. You won't need to treat his outreach like a rare and precious resource to immediately snatch up because you're already so well nourished by your own inner spring. From that charged up place, you'll be able to engage with any potential match from a place of wholeness, not neediness, curiosity, not desperation, excited exploration, not white knuckled attachment to outcome. You'll be able to let things simmer and unfold organically instead of forcing the pace. And most importantly, you'll be so anchored in yourself that no matter how he responds, you won't fall apart. Because you'll know in your bones that while his interest might be the cherry on top, you are the real delicious cake. Your worth, your joy, your wild pulsing potential, they all exist independent of his attentiveness and approval. So the next time you're tempted to lunge into an overeager reply, I hope you'll remember this little heart to heart of ours. I hope you'll take a beat to check in with yourself, to feel into what real self honoring would look like in that micro moment. I hope you'll thank your tender heart for being so willing to give and connect while still choosing to pace yourself sustainably. Most of all, I hope you'll let this be your tiny rebellion against a world that's taught you to hustle for worthiness, your act of revolutionary self love, every time you don't automatically drop everything to be instantly available. No, you won't always get it perfect. Yes, you'll still occasionally find yourself wanting to chase, cling, or control out of fear. That's so deeply human and understandable. When those moments arise, greet yourself with compassion and simply begin again. Resist nothing, but come home to yourself, your center, your enoughness. Because this, my love, is the real key to attracting and sustaining healthy relationships, having such a blazing affair with your own life that affection and attention from others feels like a bonus, not oxygen. Knowing in your marrow that nothing and no one can take you from your throne, so you're free to engage and play and explore without grasping. From that space, you'll become utterly irresistible to aligned partners, not because you're playing games, but because you're at home in yourself. You'll call in people who honor your time, match your investment, and cherish your heart even more for its uncompromising allegiance to your own thriving. So here's to you, you gorgeous, worthy, self regarding creature. Here's to responding, not reacting, savoring, not seizing, staying close to your own fire above all else. Here's to knowing that anything meant for you can't be pushed away by a moment of self honoring, and anyone who can't handle your happy, full life isn't your match anyway. As you start practicing this, sweet soul, prepare to be astonished. Prepare to watch your dating anxiety melt into exciting possibility, your need to be chosen dissolve into your power to choose. Get ready to feel more cherished, desired, and celebrated than ever, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're daring to stay easy to find. Your person, your joy, your wildest dreams, they're all already hunting for you. All you need to do is stop chasing shadows and let yourself be found. Not half empty, not breathless with longing, but glowing, peaceful, and heart poundingly loyal to your own happiness. The love you want wants all of you, my dear, and that starts with gifting yourself the grace of healthy response times and strong yet supple boundaries. It starts with making your inner world and outer purpose just as much of a priority as any paramour. So stay the course. Let this be your new normal, your way of being so vivid and lush in your own life that no one call or text feels make or break. Keep picking yourself, even and especially when your conditioned impulses say otherwise. Because with each moment you choose your center over your anxiety, your wholeness over your hunger for crumbs, you're becoming more magnetic, alluring, and in love with your own life than you've ever been. And from that enchanted place, oh baby, you'll be amazed how bright and beautiful everything blooms. So here's to your continued becoming, you stunning supernova. Here's to keeping your inner fire stoked and radiant, even as you open to connection. Here's to the best things finding you in your natural habitat of thriving, not the parched terrain of over pursuit. Take a breath. Let it fill your belly. Feel the delicious space you're creating by stepping back into your own orbit, even when the glimmer of his attention threatens to throw you off your axis. Remember, no matter how it all shakes out, you've always got you. You've always got this brave and bountiful path of loving yourself first and best. Anything else that wants to dance alongside you in this adventure? What a gorgeous bonus, but never, ever again a necessity for your flourishing. Your pace, your joy, your unshakable devotion to your own becoming. Let this be your northern star, and know that I'm cheering you on every step of the way. Not because you need my approval, but because the world needs more of this radical self-cherishing in action. Because we're all being called home to ourselves, response by response, day by delicious day. So thank you, my friend, for walking this path of expansion. Thank you for being willing to fumble and learn and grow in service of your biggest life. Thank you for daring to choose yourself, even when it feels edgy and new. You're doing it. You're becoming her, the woman who knows her own beauty, who romances her own rhythm, who lets life chase her for a change. And from one journey woman to another, I couldn't be more in awe of your unfolding. I couldn't be more grateful to be flying this spacious sky alongside you. So here's to being responsive, not reactive, to keeping our cups full, our hearts open, and our eyes fixed on our own wondrous horizons, to trusting the magic of divine timing and gracing ourselves with plenty of it. Because if we just keep picking the joy, the truth, the center of who we are, oh my darlings, then love, in all its wild and gleaming facets, can't help but pick us right back over and over again. Let's ride. The adventure of a lifetime is just beginning. And it all starts with honoring the holy pause between his reach and your reply. In that sacred space, everything we've been waiting for is already rooting for us. Welcome home.